While the world's richest man steals all the spotlight in Trump's administration, there's another billionaire behind the scenes who wields considerable influence. You may have never heard of him before. His name is Peter Thiel. His tech empire began when he co-founded PayPal. He merged that company with a financial services company owned by Elon Musk in the year 2000. This birthed what has come to be known as the PayPal Mafia. It's a group of wealthy tech bros who all got their start from PayPal. Although Musk has emerged as the more well-known of the two, Peter Thiel cast a large shadow over the administration that many miss. Just take a closer look at some of his companies. Peter Thiel owns Palantir, a high-tech defense contractor. Through Thiel's founder fund, he's become a major investor in Anduril Industries, another defense contractor. This one builds war drones. Thiel's founder fund also is invested in Scale AI. Thiel's an investor in numerous Musk companies, including SpaceX, Neuralink, and The Boring Company. Thiel mentored Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg over the years. He's handed out $100,000 checks to hundreds of his Thiel fellows. Since 2000, he's donated nearly $50 million to Republican campaigns, including the likes of Senator Josh Hawley and Senator Ted Cruz. Vivek Ramaswamy met Peter Thiel at an intimate lunch seminar when he was in college at Yale. Thiel has supported him ever since. In early 2022, Ramaswamy co-founded Strive Asset Management, an anti-woke investment fund, and Thiel was an early investor. And now that Ramaswamy is running for governor, we can pretty much expect that Thiel will be a major donor to him as well. However, Peter Thiel's influence over the White House is what's really impressive. So let's start at the top. Thiel donated $1 million to Trump's 2016 campaign and received a primetime speaking slot at the Republican National Convention that year. Peter Thiel donated $15 million to J.D. Vance's Senate campaign in Ohio, which helped propel him to become vice president. Thiel became a mentor to J.D. Vance back in college. They met at a speech that Thiel gave, one that impacted Vance so much he called it, quote, the most significant moment of my time at Yale Law School. Thiel was also an investor and mentor to Sam Altman, founder of OpenAI, which owns ChatGPT. Quick reminder here, OpenAI is one of 3 partner companies making up Stargate, a new partnership that Trump gave $500 billion to for artificial intelligence research. They got this within hours of Trump being inaugurated. David Sacks was the former CEO of PayPal, and now he's serving as a crypto czar in Trump's second administration. Jim O'Neill was a major fixture in Thiel's orbit, running the Thiel Foundation and the Thiel Fellowship. He also helped launch Thiel's venture capital firm, Mithril Capital Management. Vice President J.D. Vance worked here as well. These days, Jim O'Neill is serving as Deputy Director of Health and Human Services, right alongside RFK Jr. 5 people connected to Thiel's companies work for the Department of Government Efficiency, otherwise known as DOGE. Michael Kratsios is connected to Thiel through Clarium Capital, Thiel Capital, and Scale AI. In Trump's first administration, he was Chief Technology Officer and a high-ranking Pentagon official. Now he's assistant to the president for science and technology. Michael Obadal was senior director at Anduril. Now he's serving as Army Undersecretary. Clark Miner was a software engineer at Palantir. Now he's the chief technology officer at the Department of Health and Human Services. Gregory Barbaccia worked at Palantir for a decade. He's also connected to Thiel through his role at Elementis. These days, he's serving as chief information officer at the Office of Management and Budget. It's also been reported he was the one who interviewed agency personnel after Trump's inauguration. Ken Howry is an OG. He co-founded PayPal with Peter Thiel. He's also connected to him through Clarium Capital. In Trump's first term, he was ambassador to Sweden. These days, he's serving as ambassador to Denmark. Patrick Witt was a former Thiel-backed candidate. These days, Witt is serving as Chief of Staff in the Office of Strategic Capital at the Department of Defense. Jacob Hellberg is a former general partner at Thiel's Founders Fund. He was also a senior advisor at Palantir and is the husband of early PayPal executive Keith Rabois. These days, Hellberg is serving as the Undersecretary of State for Economic Growth, Energy, and the Environment. Colin Carroll worked at Anduril before being selected to serve as Chief of Staff to the Deputy Secretary of Defense. Having key people sprinkled throughout the administration is obviously helping his businesses already. Just 2 months in, and companies Thiel's invested in are flush with contracts. Anduril has nabbed a more than $20 billion contract with the Army to build augmented headsets. Scale AI scored a deal with the Department of Defense. And Thiel's very own Palantir stock soared more than 90% after the inauguration. And let's not forget that Anduril is building a massive war drone manufacturing plant in Ohio, which is likely to get stuffed with government contracts over Trump's second term. Okay, so Peter Thiel has placed his cronies in the White House, and he's getting government contracts, likely due to his influence, as well as his campaign donations. This is politics as usual, though. What's the worst that could happen? Well, Peter Thiel isn't your typical wealthy political donor looking for a few contracts. He's got a unique, some say dangerous, worldview. More than a decade ago, Peter Thiel wrote an essay for the Cato Institute titled The Education of a Libertarian. It reads as a foreshadowing of what we're seeing unfold before our very eyes. As Business Insider notes, quote, he laid out almost everything that Trump and his followers are putting into practice today. It's all there. The wholesale gutting of government agencies, the attempt to erase diversity from the historical record, the ratcheting back of regulations and public aid, even the obsessive love affair with cryptocurrencies. Essentially, Peter Thiel was Doge before Doge was cool. He was anti-DEI before it was cool. And while that may settle well with conservatives, it doesn't end there. His ideology gets really weird really fast, very technocratic, and very eerie. He believes the great task before mankind is, quote, to find an escape from politics in all its forms. He blames, quote, the vast increase in welfare beneficiaries and the extension of the franchise to women. You heard that right. He has a problem with women voting. Forget that this country has been exclusively ran by men since its inception, and that Congress and the Supreme Court has been overwhelmingly male. No, all of our problems are caused by women. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other podcast. To fix the problem of the poor and of women voting, we should reject, quote, the unthinking demos and create a world not bounded by historical nation-states. Here's another doozy. Thiel said, quote, I no longer believe that freedom and democracy are compatible. This unregulated world that he fantasizes about is created by and for corporate interests. That's its main goal. Thiel says we need, quote, a new world currency free from all government control and dilution, the end of monetary sovereignty, as it were. As students, both Peter Thiel and David Sachs wrote for the Stanford Review, which lamented multiculturalism. They also wrote an anti-diversity book called The Diversity Myth together. A decade ago, Peter Thiel wrote 0 to 1, a book that extols the greatness of monopolies, how they are beneficial to society, and how you should build one for yourself. He describes building a monopoly as the key to success.
Because if you have a unique business that does something nobody else is doing, you have something that is a monopoly, at least for a while. And my claim is that everybody who is a founder, an entrepreneur, an investor, an early employee in these companies, you always want to aim for monopoly. And that is what you would want to aim for on the inside. We can have a discussion about what kinds of monopolies are good or bad for society at large, but on the inside, that is what you always want to aim for. You don't want to have crazy competition. And so I think that there's sort of a conventional view that capitalism and competition are synonyms, and I believe the opposite is true. I believe capitalism and competition are antonyms. I believe a capitalist is someone who's in the business of accumulating capital. A world of perfect competition is a world where all the profits are competed away.
Peter Thiel has a distinct ideology, one many find disturbing. Now that's for you to decide, but regardless of what your political opinion is, do you really want just one man to have this much influence over the government? Don't be distracted by Elon Musk's performance art. He may be out front, but Peter Thiel is wielding just as much influence. The media doesn't give it as much attention, though. Thiel lurks in the shadows. If you find this interesting, check out my new series, Peter Thiel Watch, for the latest updates on how this tech billionaire is trying to control the monopoly board and all of government. Now that you know where we've been, find out where we're going. Tune in to Ladies Love Politics, where you can stay informed without going insane.